the phone. You don't know what you are doing. I just gotta go live and talk about this, because this don't make no sense. You don't know what you are doing. And yes, you are a slave. This is the disturbing truth. I don't care if there's 1,000 people in this room or if there's 10 people in this room. You need to know this truth. And that truth is that you are a slave. I need for you to wake up as if you were royal. Act like it for once. You must have forgotten your own story, your own family line. How can you praise and give thanks to the ancestors? Or how can you praise and give thanks to the Most High, but you don't even remember your own ancestors? Just a few generations ago, you were slaves. So how are you sitting here in a free state when your ancestors died to actually be free? You are a slave running around thinking you're doing things to benefit and expand your life. But you're feeding the beast. You're feeding Babylon. And you don't know because you don't know yourself. So this is the curse. This is what it means to be sovereign. To be sovereign means to be supreme. To be supreme means to have knowledge. To have knowledge means to be conscious. To be conscious means to be aware. And if you are not aware of where you came from and who you are, then you will continue perpetuating the same cycle that you say that you are here to break. You are insane. You have to stop everything that you're doing so that you can get a clear download from the Most High. You are doing too much, and this is why you cannot get remedy. You need to slow down, and you need to pour out your cup. Whatever it is that you think you know, you don't fucking know. They taught you everything you know in school. You were indoctrinated and then you were educated. So you were programmed as a military subject. You are a military subject. You are here for war. Do you understand? And until you get in alignment with the universal laws, the law of correspondence, the law of vibration, the law of mentalism, everything else you do does not fucking matter. You are a dead corporation. This is not just a business term. This is sorcery, dark magic. This is voodoo that's being done on you. Your congressmen and your founding fathers are scientists and alchemists. They are doing magic. And if you're speaking English, you are also doing magic. Which is why when you are dealing with the courts of law, you are not aware of you're not able to figure out how they have the power to make a claim based upon your name. The United States itself was won through a declaration of independence, or I should say claimed, after wars were fought. This is a war nation that was built off of hundreds of thousands of people dying. Hundreds of thousands of your people died here in America. This was your land that was stolen. It's about the land, because without the land, how are you able to exist? God, there's only certain pieces of information that we need to know, and that's the 5 W's. What, when, where, how, who. Once you figure that out, then you figure life out, and you will stop reincarnating here on this purgatory state. You are in hell. That makes you a demon or a god. Which side are you on? Is you a demon or is you a god? Because if you are a demon, then you need to stop complaining about the unfairness of life. You're the reason why it's like that. Because without you, this is the reason why I've established a university to organize the information to connect you back to your higher self, so you stop listening to these. There's no such thing as a fake guru, but let me just say false teachers who do not have complete knowledge. Because again, for the last couple of 100 years, your genes have been manipulated by masters who call themselves your fathers, your founding fathers. So unless you come from an indigenous place outside this country, your genes don't have the capacity to even hold the fucking truth. So that's why you got to start studying science. What is the prefix psi? And what is science means is the observation of what's natural. You have to understand biology as so within. You have to understand quantum physics as so above. You have to understand melanin as so without. When you understand these sciences, the science of grounding, the science of astrology, and how you're literally made up based upon shapes, or I should say expressions of energy, which energy is simply electricity. Nowhere in fucking science have they ever mentioned anything about energy being real. Energy, in fact, denotes to electricity. So whenever you say that, oh, I can feel the energy, you're speaking about an electric current. And this is how they have you enslaved to the currency. The currency. Because you don't know how to move your own electricity. This is a cosmic currency build. Understand your cosmic nature. You're not the body. If you're the body, where do you go every night when you go to sleep? When your body is in the bed that you're laying in, where do you go when you fall asleep? And I'm going to keep saying this until you understand your power. Because this is the reason how the United States Incorporated was able to usurp your power, because you forgot who and where the fuck you were. Everything is being made up. Your job was made up by another man. The money you used to buy your goods was made up by another man. This man came, raped, killed, and stole your property. And now you are serving him because you are choosing to be weak. It is a choice to be free. And it's also a choice to be a slave. And if you don't read, you will never be free. So you think that you're going to make it. You think that you are a superstar. Even though you're mighty talented, you think you're going to make it, but you are disrespecting God. You're disrespecting the devil. You are in the United States. Whose state is that? And where's your estate? You are working for the devil. You're either working for God, and until you can clearly explain what God is in one word, you are not working for God. And when you understand and have the explanation of what God is in one word, then the whole world shall be brought onto you. It'll all make sense. This is what the Vatican is doing. They have a clear understanding of God and the sciences of melanin. Why do you think they are always abducting melanated people and doing experiments with melanin? You guys have to understand, why is melanin why is melanin worth more than gold? 4 to 8 times more. Melanin is worth 4 to 8 times more than gold. Do you know who the fuck you are? You have eumelanin, you have pheomelanin, and you have neuromelanin. We all have neuromelanin. Caucasians and Asians and Latinos to the like have a lightly hued eumelanin. We all have neuromelanin. Melanin, or carbon, the byproduct from which melanin comes from, is the chemical that binds things together. So if you are in essence the chemical byproduct that binds things together, what the fuck are you doing going to do physical work? It doesn't make sense. Okay, let me just remind you, you went to a public school, got a public education. This public school board was started in the early 19th century by the Rockefellers and the Prussian Prime Minister. They created the Board of Education in 1855 and invested somewhere around $6 to $8 million at the time in 1855. That's a lot of money to create this Board of Education. And when they created the Board of Education, in order to create you as an adult, all you know is the shit you was taught as a child. So if all you know is the shit that you was taught as a child, you really don't know anything. You're really a fucking bot. You're a slave. This is how they made the system. We want a nation of workers and not a nation of thinkers. So even when you quote unquote free yourself, you're still working hard and you're not working smart. So you're trained to be a fucking robot, a copper top battery, as said in the Matrix. You are a fucking battery for Babylon, for the Matrix, because you have not figured out you have seen the truth and you deny the truth. And that's blasphemous. So how dare you say to yourself that you're actually going, stop lying to yourself. You're hurting others more than you're hurting yourself. Most of the time, we don't realize how much we're hurting with ourselves until we can't take anymore. But we never realize how we're actually causing pain onto others. We're killing each other. You are military product. There's two laws in this land. There's the law of the land and there's the law of the sea. Because everything in this nation that was built in this nation, all your buildings, your corporations and organizations, all those products and these bricks didn't come from here in the Americas. They were shipped across the seas. So now the laws of the seas, which has to do with shipping, and it has to do with shipping because you essentially come from your mother's hips. And if you change the S around from the letter hips, from the end to the beginning, you get the letter ship. So this is why the mother is called the mother ship. And this is also why you have a birth, B-I-R-T-H, because in admiralty law or in the law of the waters, a birth, B-E-R-T-H, is when something breaks out of the canal waters, stops, and then goes again. Just like a baby, you, the cargo, you break out of your mother's water canal. So this whole entire life experience is a business transaction, one in which you have been duped, you have been finessed to believe that you are actually a human being, when in fact you are You are straight light. You are moving through places and times, which is why you can close your mind and then you can imagine some shit that happened at 4 years old or at 6 years old and bring back the feelings. And because that's what you are. You are the thought that is moving through the being. And until you honor this, you will continue being in your slave position. Whatever the fuck it is that you want, you have to utilize your brain matter. Okay, whatever matters will matter. Materialize. Matter. That's the great secret of the Ma. I know I'm saying a lot, but this is why you're still a slave. Because there's a lot of confusions on what it is that we're actually speaking on. So again, remember your history. Your ancestors were raped. Your ancestors were killed. Your ancestors were pillaged. Your ancestors' information, knowledge, and secrets were destroyed and taken advantage on. And then for a couple of 100 years, you were psychologically manipulated. You were economically extorted. You don't have a connection to your own ancestors. You don't have a connection to God. You don't know what or who God is, so you can't even get remedy in any form of a courtroom. You cannot get remedy because you're walking in there as a devil, as a demon, and you're battling the devil himself, Uncle Sam, Samael, the demon himself, thinking that you're going to beat the devil at his own game. Who do you think you are? We must find the master teachers. And this is me, the royal speaking. I'm speaking live from the house of Rama with a direct connection to God. And I had to be taken out of the matrix. When you don't fucking listen, you get taken out the matrix. And because I'm so hard-headed, I had cancer. So I was sat down for 7 years. And I suffered to give you guys this fucking message, but you would rather go out in this world and learn on your fucking own. But some of you won't fucking make it. And that's why I'm yelling at you right now. Stop being an idiot. Wake up and activate. The only thing that's coming back to you right now in this reality is what the fuck you're putting out. So if you would just shut the fuck up for 1 second and only put out what you really want to put out, then you will move fucking forward in life. But you have so much shit on your mind. That's why I'm so successful, because I can focus one thing at a time. Your brain can actually, honestly, psychologically, only produce and then conceive one product, one piece at a time. And yeah, this is what it is. This is the culmination of a fast. You know, I start fasting, and then all the little shit that actually has us trapped in this matrix, in this fictitious world. Do you understand? If you live in a structure that's made of red bricks, that's sorcery, that's magic. So when I fast, I start seeing clearly that, oh wait, we're in prison. They don't have to lock you up and put handcuffs on you. They already have custodial ownership of your title. This is why they give you a birth certificate, and a certificate is only given to somebody who has a title. But what is your title? Is African American your title? Is black your title? Is Negro? Is nigga your title? Is bitch your title? What's your title? None of these titles denote to royalty, and you're expecting to be rich in life. It don't make fucking sense. It gets deep. It gets deep. This is a wicked space. Please, yes. Thank you. It gets deep. This is a wicked space. And this year's 2024. We're going through the same shit we went through in 2020. There's going to be a large money opportunity that comes right after the election. Y'all don't even realize what's happening right now with the whole Donald Trump and the whole Joseph Biden thing. Y'all don't even understand what it means to elect. When you elect, that's the prefix again for electricity. So again, you are electing a president, or you're electing a state of mind to represents the collective consciousness. So whether you vote or not, the electoral college will make up the presidency, because the presidency is for the corporation and to manage the assets, which are we, the people of the United States, are the assets of the corporation. So the presidency, the president is a CEO, is a position, and you vote as in voltage, you vote giving them your energy, electricity. So don't you realize, and this is the message to all the old people. Really, I want to say this the message to my mother, because she used to always be having me look at the news and the politics and tell me to vote. What we're actually doing is participating in a Masonic ritual that we're not aware of. Every holiday is a Masonic ritual. Even our fucking our birthday celebrations. I broke that down in the last class. We don't have a birth date. We have a log in dates. We have a solar return. So on those dates, when we observe our astrology, then we will see what is the best thing we can do to actually help others. Because if nobody shows up to celebrate you, are you really having a birthday? Which is why through the studying of my astrology, which is a degree in the house of Rama, I understood that the best thing I could do on my birthday was to do a class. And I did a class, and I did a video, and now this video has 500,000 views. This is through knowledge of self. Infinite risings. Appreciate you, Bishop. You know, bob me the smoke. So this legal jurisdiction and this lawful jurisdiction, ever since the American Revolutionary War, which the indigenous people fought in, and if you don't know the name of your ancestors that fought in the indigenous wars, that's where I would start. Because then we'll stop fighting as a melanated people. I don't care if you're black and you're from Asia. I don't care if you're black and you're from Africa. I don't care if you're black, if you're from North America or South America. You are black, and this is black, and black is power. It does not mean that that's a psyops. All the colors come from black. So the only thing you could be is, but we fell in love with serving the slave master and serving the European, and we don't know it, but we're married to the state. We're married to the corporation. You are United States citizens by your claims. Every time you sign, you never restrict your signature. You never send in a backup affidavit. You never clear the point of the record, because also nobody is telling you this. Most people are just telling you to become sovereign. Nobody's telling you to become a king. Nobody's telling you to become a queen. You're just being told to become sovereign. But in the suffix of the word solve, reign, you have the word reign. R-E-I-G-N. Reign, which denotes to a king or a queen. So to be sovereign is to be royal, because in life, you're either a fucking royal or you are a slave. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to enforce and emphasize the Great Divide. If you're with the ministries, if you're with the house of God, it is time for you to claim your royal status, your royal heritage. You need a patent of live birth or a patent of nativity as a claim. And as a royal, you also need a patent of nobility. For your babies, for your children, you need a baby land deed. This is what nobles and royals do. They establish a deed, which is a claim or an expression of the relation, which is the bond, which is of what just manifested, which is the baby, the child, or what they call the infant. When you have that baby land deed and you secure that land deed inside of your own offshore trust account, now you've secured your child in this corporation. Also, you've secured yourself in this corporation. If you were born in the United States, then you were born military booty. You know what that is? Military booty. Your booty. Big booty. That means you're worth your weight in gold at the time of your birth. And every interaction, transaction, I should say, of business that you have done and are doing has accumulated interest. Now, can you go and just tap in and get this interest when you've been asleep for hundreds of years? Hell no. This is why you don't see everybody tapping into it, because it's only meant for those who pass the ranks. You got to go through different levels and clubs and organizations of initiations. Rama Ministries and Private Wealth Club being one of them. Legacy Ministries. If you were here online 2 to 3 years ago, you could have got in with Legacy Ministries. As it goes right now, there's not many private entities who actually want to help you all in the public. This is why I come on here yelling, the Royal Minister, because my mentors and my teachers are telling me, stop telling them what's going on. They leave the people asleep. Let them kill themselves. These are my instructions. So every time I come on here and speak to you all, I'm breaking my own code, my own instructions. And the reason is because what's a king? Well, what's a prince if you can't walk amongst the streets in your peoples? And when I walk amongst the streets in my peoples, I see we're the ones that's running the operating systems. We're the ones that's being the landlords and the managers. We're the ones that's the bank tellers. We're the ones that's driving the buses. We're the ones that's policing. We're the ones that's judging. So we are literally enforcing hell on ourselves. And again, hell is a state of mind, because that's the first universal principle. It's that all is mental. When you log off at night and you go to sleep, you go somewhere else. You travel there, but your body is still in bed. So the first law is mentalism. Everything starts and then ends in the mind. So everything that's happening in your external world is a projection of your internal reality. Again, your external world is a reflection of your internal reality, because you have to have consciousness for it to function. And the less consciousness you have, the more of the external reality you can actually sense. The less of it makes sense. So we are the ones implementing this on ourselves. Landlords, bankers, judges, attorneys, they're innocent because they had the same public elementary and middle school education you had. They just went to a private college, or they did more college than you. So now becoming sovereign means you're becoming the master teacher of your estate. This is what it means to be in the age of information, meaning to get information. To get information means to get in a formation, right? And the formation you're getting into when you're studying sovereignty is a noble, a king, or a queen. So again, if you don't know what it is or what it means to be a king or a queen, then welcome. The royal minister, I will guide you into your own higher self. And I'll end it with this. You must start with your natal chart, your astrology. Your demons and your angels are messengers to yourself. There's no such thing as a demon, exoteric, only esoteric. There's no such thing as an angel, esoteric, exoteric, only esoteric. A demon and an angel are messengers, vibrations, frequencies, electric pulses that are coming to you, signaling to yourself. So if a demon pops up in your reality, then that's an opportunity for you to cure those negative thoughts that are causing you to be stagnant in your reality. If an angel comes to you in your reality, that's an opportunity for you to cure. Now, you, as the first law being mentalism, angels and demons come through you based upon you, your readiness, your willingness, and your ableness. You must be ready, willing, and able to receive, because if you're not able to receive, you're not going to give back. And this is why most of the power is taken away from a lot of individuals. So this is the nature of commerce. And again, commerce, you have to look up the etymology of all the words that you think you know, because the original languages that they come from have a completely different tone. And those tones are actually governing us. This is why the word government. Govern means to control. Ment is prefix for mental. So government is here to control the mental. They're not here to provide anything for the people. They understand that the first law is mind. All is mental. So government now comes and controls the mind, the mental. So when it comes to correcting your status, knowing that all is mental will give you the answer and also the explanation as to why you don't have to correct your status in the first place. Yes, you were born military booty. The body, they took your foot as in your body. And remember, the body is just a tool. It's a vehicle. It's a vessel. It's an apparatus for the actual living soul. So the living soul is known as the surety. That's the beneficiary. That's the one that's the creator of the reality. And yes, energy, well, the law of thermodynamics states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transferred. We already covered in this live earlier. There's no such thing as energy, only electricity. So technically, you can create a spark of electricity. Energy can be created. Electricity can be sparked. So until you come in and act as surety just throughout life, you're going to be in a debtor position. And debtor just means being poverty conscious. Breaking people out of the poverty consciousness. Robert Kiyosaki talks about the cash flow quadrant. Being sovereign, again, means being a king, being a queen. So if you're working, you're an employee, or if you're working for yourself, you're self-employed, and you're not a business owner or you're not an investor, then you're still on the wrong side of the quadrant. You're on the wrong side of the cross. You're on the wrong side of the pillar. We need you to cross over. You have to understand finances and economics. Economics being energy connected in order to actually get ourselves and our families out of the positions that we are in. So with tax season coming up, I advise everybody, if you need help getting taxes filed, we do have somebody in the team that will be assisting people. But once you get your taxes, people, you need to open up your businesses and stop playing with yourself. How are you really traveling out here? Your business is not set up straight. Make sure you have that business. Make sure you have a website for your business. Make sure your social media is on point for your business. Make sure that you have an email for that business. If you can, go ahead and tap in with a professional number. Get you a professional address for that business. And then go open up a business bank account. And so that this year you can stop playing with yourself. This is Babylon. This is the way you get free from Babylon, by opening up your bank, private bank, business bank account, making sure that your business is compatible with the NACIS code, so that you're not getting denied when you're asking for lines of credit. If you have a 680 and you're still working a job and you haven't leveraged your credit and you're still working a job, then you're doing something completely wrong. And if you're not focused on getting that credit or spreading this information and telling people, like I had to tell my mother for 2 years straight. I'm talking about every time I went to see her, I told her for 2 years straight, Mom, you have an 850. She got a damn near perfect credit score. What are you doing? Add me as an authorized user so I can go and get this line of credit. For 2 years straight, I didn't talk to her about nothing else, because none of that other shit matters. Talk about the shit that matters. And then when I show her the line of credit that I got and I show her how to get it, then this is when the Matrix and the Agent Smith pops up. And as melanated people, black people especially if you grew up in the hood, or if you're a poor white especially, we're told not to go and get the money from the banks. You don't want to owe them money. So then you never go to the banks, and we fear this thing. And this is why we never do it. Meanwhile, we complain and we point out the Jewish community and other communities, and we talk about how they get so much money. What do you mean? They're setting up their businesses and their religious organization, their faith-based organizations, their 508c1As, and then they're going to the banks and they're getting them funded. But they're sitting down together and they're reading. So family, join the club and let's fucking read. For the most part, I be dropping passages in there. And because I have I've done the hard work. I've read the hard stuff. So now I can give back the stuff that's only needed. As mankind, you are being trained and groomed by the dark forces and their minions to become horses or whores of Babylon, the ancient capital city of Babylonia. Today, many teachings and philosophies of certain secret societies can be traced all the way back to Babylon. The word Babylon originates from the Greek version of Akkadian Babylon, Bab-Elion, meaning the gate of the gods. Babylon is the gate of the gods. Beware that they are not talking about God. Instead, they are talking about the ancient gods. Keep in mind that most ancient gods are the personifications of important principles inside of us. Peace. Peace to the royal family. This is why they must manage your estates in trust. The The etymology of the word manage is derived from the Italian word manegere, which means to handle, especially to control a horse or a whore. This is how the government looks at you. It's not fun and games. They're not your friends. They are your enemy. And this is why they created the Trading with the Enemy Act. And it was not even they, more specifically, Abraham Lincoln was the first one to speak about the Trading with the Enemy Act. And if you look at Abraham Lincoln and the other presidents, you'll see he was actually one of the 6 African American presidents or black presidents. There were 6 of them. Look them up. So the word manage has a strong connection to the word manager. So based on the definition, a manager is someone who manages horses. Metaphorically, the horses are the workers, you, the employees, you. Another term that is related to horse is ponytail. Ponies. All the ponies. That's another significant thing that most young women, even men, dream of as child, to go and ride ponies. They say the pony and the unicorn image. Here's why. Because sometimes a man doesn't like, at least in traditional times, when a woman would put their hair in a ponytail, because that means business. This may sound silly, but some men get angry at, in times, in royal times, when the woman will put your hair, because that's your crown. So that's denoting you putting your crown up. That means you are about to get out of order. Or typically, you're about to get something in order. We're really speaking on what's about to happen. So, women who do not have bangs can also be a turnoff. Bangs usually do not cause too many relationships. But check this out. Maybe the man does not like to bang the woman anymore, aka bangs. When the German word pony is translated, it comes back into the English word meaning bangs. Who created the language? In English, the word pony is defined as a horse of any small type or breed. So do you still think that horses or whores are connection is just a coincidence? You have to, when you understand the legal name and commerce, you will see that there's what they call dichotomies. A dichotomy means there's 2 sides to the coin. Just like there's 2 sides, left brain, right brain. There's 2 poles, North Pole, South Pole. So to connect the dots, the birth certificate bond is a financial contract. It's a contract created to enslave your body. Once they have your body, what is controlling your body? Your mind. What is your mind but your soul? So when they enslave your body, they enslave also your mind and your soul. So when I say you're enslaved, I truly mean they have you mind, body, and soul. So they use you as collateral for the debt of their wars. The war that they started when they fled their crown, their state, their fathers in heaven. Anyone who has a birth certificate has been physically and spiritually enslaved by the dark forces. Sadly, most people are unaware of this. And because of this, you have little chance of freeing yourself from the birth certificate bond. This certificate is a magic contract. Therefore, it not only bonds you at the physical level, but it also bonds you at a spiritual level. Have you ever wondered why the birth certificate has seals on them? These seals are actually sigils. The word sigil is derived from the Latin word sigilia, meaning seal. Keep in mind that each alphabet of the language system is also a sigil. Each letter in the alphabet is a sigil. The word sigil is defined as a sign or a word or device held to have occult power in astrology or magic. So now do you see how you're doing magic? Words are sigils because the letters that make up words were created using sacred geometry and sacred science. So when you look at your legal name that the government gave you, It looks nearly identical to the name given to you by your parents, your legal name, which is used then by the government to do business with. The body, which is filled 85% up with water or liquid, is written in all capital letters because it is a piece of liquidated capital, or cap it all. In other words, your legal name has been securitized and turned into a financial instrument to seal your body so it can be sold. Hence the term liquidated, cap it all, capital, liquidated capital. To liquidate something is to sell it off entirely or sell it to pay off a debt. The process of liquidating something to make money is called liquidated capital. Why is this, you may ask? Because you, the living soul who has been securitized, were born in the womb of your mother, which is made mostly of water, liquid. You are also made mostly of water. So because you are made of mostly liquid and have been securitized through the womb, you are considered liquidated capital. The word capital comes from the Latin word capitalis, meaning of the head. Hence, capital is chief or first. It also comes from another Latin word, caput, which translates to English as head. Capital is head. When you really study these occult definitions in these words we're going over, you will come to the conclusion that this process is of turning you into capital money or liquidated capital is their way of saying that you have a bounty on your head as being God in the flesh. Your birth certificate, your certificate of birth is the bond with your legal name, written on it in all capital letters. Therefore, it is the financial document or insurance certificate that has the value of the bounty on your head. This is why your birth certificate can be used to issue bonds to trade in the stock market. Exactly. In the Western world and also in many Eastern countries in today, shortly after you are born, the governmental puts a bounty on your head due to the fact that the government thinks of you as potential enemies of the state. According to Judge Dale, author of The Great American Adventure, go read that book, or at least read this quote. When he said, if you live in the United States, the act that makes you an enemy of the U.S. government is the Trading with the Enemy Act. Even though the corporate U.S. government considers you as an enemy of the state, it actually has no jurisdiction over you as the living soul, with the body made of flesh and blood. However, if you agree to act in the capacity of a United States citizen, then the U.S. government does have jurisdiction over you. It's all about what you agree to act in the capacity of. The good news is that the U.S. government only has jurisdiction over you when you are acting in the capacity of a United States citizen. For example, if you have a driver's license, the only time when the police can legally pull you over for violating a law, traffic law, is when you are driving a vehicle or you are breaking a contract, you are damaging, injuring a party. All laws are contractual law. So unless there is a contract in place, there is no law being broken. Now, if there is a contract in place, then that makes it a commercial transaction. And what is a commercial transaction besides the exchanges of securities? That's why on most contracts that do have to do with law, you exchange your social security in order to apply for that contract. So this is the law. It's the law of the contracts. Okay, let's get into it. The contract tract. What is a con? You know, a con is a finesse. It's something that's done in the dark, the occult. That's what a con is. What is a tract? Tract is something that has to do with a course, a path. Tract also has to do with coming together. So when you put con and tract together, we actually should be protracting, more should say, rather than contracting, which the Masons, they protract really good, if you follow what I'm saying. The contract has to do with getting lost in the course, getting lost in the sauce, right? So all they're doing is they presume that you are acting in the capacity of a government or an agent. In other words, the U.S. government only has legal jurisdiction over you when you are using your driver's license or any other government-issued ID to perform acts of government. However, it does not have lawful jurisdiction. The reason why the U.S. government has legal jurisdiction over United States citizens is due to the fact that United States citizens, you are considered artificial persons, aka a corporation, a dead entity. And therefore, you have no natural rights. It doesn't matter what you say. You have no natural rights until that's corrected. Furthermore, let me continue. United States citizens are considered, you are an employee, a volunteer of the United States. Congratulations. You are such a good Samaritan. Look up Samaritan, right? Which you'll be a Christian, actually. You're all Christians if you're citizens, by the way. That's why I say you're ambassadors of God, because technically you're Christians. And therefore, but Christians, the etymology of that word is Cretan. And Cretan goes back to 1 USC 1. Look up there where the word root, etymology for the word Christian comes from, and you will see Cretan. Then look up what Cretan means. You see a very, 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 very foolish person, imbecile. A Cretan, a Christian, is a very stupid person. So that's the etymology of the words, and that's the same thing as a good Samaritan and a United States citizen or a 1 USC 1. So now you also have the choice to be a United States national, and that's 8 USC 1408. United States national and not citizen by birth. Yeah, the Judge Dale book is The Great American Adventure. It's The Secrets of America. Do I do equity law? In fact, I do all law. Yes, I do equity law. That's God's law. Yes, I do commercial law. That's man's law. Yes, I do universal law or cosmic law. That's the universal's law. The principle's law. It has no identity. It is the entity. Yes, 8 USC 1408, nationals, not citizens, at birth, at birth, at birth. So the reason that the U.S. government has legal jurisdiction over United States citizens is due to the fact that you are considered artificial persons and therefore have no natural rights. Furthermore, United States citizens are considered employees of the United States and incorporated, and therefore are bound to the acts and statutes, rules and codes of the corporations. If you want proof that the United States is a corporation, just look up subsection 15 of Title 28, 3002, and you would see the sentence. United States means federal corporation. The act that legally created an incorporated version of the United States of America. The act was the District of Columbia Organic Act of 1871. The District of Columbia Organic Act of 1871. Unlike the country, the United States of America, which has a Republican form of government, the United States of America is a democracy. Shortly after the Great Depression of the 1930s, just 100 years ago, the United States of America changed its name to United States, from United States of America to just United States. However, it is common for the United States to do business as the United States of America. This is simply a society. The United States of America is a secret society. It's a cult. You are in a cult. Whether you are a Giants, Jets, Falcons, Hawks fan, Braves fan, whatever your team is, whatever your city is, that's your cult. And that cult is that state cult. So that's the culture. So that's what's going on right here. So shortly after the Great Depression of the 1930s, the United States changed their name. They're doing business in another name. This is a private society where people are ignorant and responsible. The people who are ignorant and irresponsible are the people in the lower tiers of this private society. You see, democracy is one of the worst forms of government. The word democracy comes from the Greek word demos, which means common people. A group of common people can also be called a mob. One of the origins of the word cracy is the Latin word kratia, meaning power, might, rule, sway. Based on the occult definitions, democracy means mob rule. So in a democracy, the voting power of the majority overrules the rights of the minority, at least so it's supposed to be. So for example, if a man were on trial for not believing in God, and 51% of the people in the courtroom were to vote that he should be hung, then that man would be hung for not believing in God. That's democracy, majority rule. We the people. I had to drink my heavily fermented tea. All right, that's pretty strong. Tastes like I got some natural bitters in it. Anyway, yes, the fasting makes the information come through clear. So let's wrap this up. How the voting system is used to drain your energy, right? I already spoke about that. May the best actor win. We already know what's going on, right? Presidents, if you haven't seen the last debate, 2020 and 2016, with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, I'll go advise to watch that, because now you can see more clearly what's happening as far as the actors. What most people don't realize is that the presidential debate is a play. It's actually a play, and all the presidential candidates are basically actors, and they're essentially auditioning for a job, since it's a play, and the job is for the corporation of the United States, and it's may the best actor win, right? So that's why don't get too caught up. Y'all need to be putting people onto this, because they're usurping your mind, and once they have your mind, and they have the body, and they already had the body at birth, but when you're strong-spirited due to the power of melanin, that's why melanin is worth more than gold, especially when you're connected to the sun and you're eating the right foods, then you have power over the initial attempt of control and you could say manipulation that they had at the time of your birth. But you have to be empowering yourself through the sun, through nature. It's not just through information, because again, your genes have been tampered for the last 400 to 600 years, and you must be constantly untampering your genes, cleaning out the post-traumatic slave syndrome. Most people say my ancestors weren't slaves. Well, if your ancestors lived in this land and you can't point yourself back to a specific tribe and time and place in Africa or in South America, then if you were here in this land, then yes, you were a slave. Not for your whole entire life, but for 400 years. But then if you were a slave here, we got to go back to the, sub-Saharan slave trade, where in Africa there was 1,400 years of slavery going on. So there were slaves, but at that time there wasn't necessarily slavery. That's a whole different conversation. But if you were a slave in the Americas for 400 years, you probably already had some time put in from before. So if you were a slave for 1,800 to 2,000 years, what the fuck was you really doing to be enslaved for that long? That's what we really got to start talking about. I don't know where that came through, but I just was thinking it was no, people my ancestors weren't slaves. We got to be accountable for what we've done so that we could finally move forward. If I'm playing something and I mess up on my part, on what I'm playing, I'm gonna say my bad. I missed that. I'm like, yo, could we do it again? You know what I'm saying? I'm dropping the knowledge. That's why the feather's coming down. So that's what it's about. But what it is just, we need more positive reinforcement, reinforcing your family that it's okay. I didn't know as well. Now that you know it, don't hold this heavy on yourself. But now it's time for you to move, because if you don't move, this is going to come back around and hit you. And this time, you're gonna feel it. Yeah, well, I mean, whites in the 1940s, after this Great Depression, 1930s Great Depression, 1940s, we get into World War II, we got into the Great Depression, World War I, 1920s. The Jewish people were in the Holocaust. So how is it that not even 100 years ago, Jewish people who now own the major corporations, media broadcasting stations, are at the top, and just not even 100 years ago, they were in Holocaust. They were in concentration camps. Like they were at the bottom of the bottom. Like we really need to observe history and scratch our heads and figure out what's going on. And remember, so we can get to that desired future point, which is back to your royalty. How did they go from being in concentration camps and literally being burnt at the stake, which is the same thing that happened to black folks, but it happened to them much more recently. One was the Holocaust. And then now look at their people, look at their culture. So yeah, anyways, my phone is about to die. I just got a signal. I'm not sure how long I got. I'm gonna make sure this live. Holocaust was really Nubians. Well, also, yeah, there were black or indigenous people, melanated people in the Holocaust. Some like 1 million black people died in the Holocaust, and like 6 to 8 million Jews died in the Holocaust. So that's black people. You've been going through it all the whole time, because really everything comes from black. So you're the reason why you're even in this in the first place. And then when you remember exactly what side of the family you're on, then you could take accountability, and then you could start healing that part of yourself, that part of other people. So then now, like, all the work you're doing is just not in vain. I'm not doing status correction and estate planning and asset protection just because I want to do it or because it makes money. I'm doing it because of my wrongs that I've done, based upon my understanding of this system and who I am. I'm taking accountability and I'm taking responsibility as the creator of and the original lawmaker of this land. So until you step back up into that position, you're gonna keep getting hit with a lot of different karmic cycles. And I'm just giving out this warning because we like almost less than 30 days out. We have a grand solar eclipse passing over North America. This is the second one in the last 7 years, and it's making an X over North America. Again, this is your warning. Take it as you will. Every time this happens, this cosmic event signifies the falling of a nation. And as I say that, something's falling down right now. Why do we call ourselves adjectives? Because if there was no description of what you were, how would we know what you are? Words or they're just vibrations that are made to move and put things together. But with this understanding, then you'll just focus on saying the words that matter so that your reality matters or materializes. Yeah, it's a business. It's the most profitable business is war, and war is politics, and politics is war. One is with bloodshed, one is without bloodshed. Free the Gaza Strip type. I don't know about the Gaza Strip type. They are killing themselves off because they're not vibrationally in alignment with the plane, the earth, the nature. So it's just the earth itself also has a natural cleansing system. So when there's too much toxins on it in certain areas, then it just starts cleansing itself out, and it's able to just control. It will host the people, the bodies on the land. So when you get in alignment with nature, then nature will come back or respond. It's called correspondence, like the law of correspondence, and then it will back and support you. And that's how you get the angels. The archangels are really north, south, east, and west. We talked about that earlier. So when you get in tune with your north, south, east, and west, that's the four corners, your cherubim which actually have to do with the chambers of your prefrontal cortex, which when you tap into that, then you can move with actually the powers, the forces of what you call the universe. But uni is one, and verse means something that is written through time. So universe is you. Y'all understand there's nothing that's outside of you. It is you. Even all the planets. The reason why astrology is so important to understand, and why every occult, sacred, secret society use astrology. Every single one of them, from the Masons to the Golden Dawn, to whatever cult, the Priory of Sion, Opus Dei, they all utilize astrology. The reason being is because the planets are actually ventricle nerves, or you could say sources, planes of that are vibrating, that are inside of your own mind, the electric magnetic pulses of electricity. And they don't exist out there. They actually exist within this firmament. You know, so the only reason why we're not seeing these things is because of the delusion that we are in. We have to clear the skies, but after we clear the land. This is how and why in these great wonders of the world known as the pyramids got established. It's all through consciousness. So anyways, with that being said, yeah, doing a little quick private free rent endorsement class Sunday for private members. I know there's some new people who joined who have not got a chance to actually see the replay, even though there are replays of the first classes we did. When you're in the club, you have access to those replays. Y'all might want to go see the conversation that we showed privately. We showed you guys the emails that we had with the landlord, so you can see how to actually educate when you are stepping into the sovereign position. You're not just doing a procedure. You actually are educating your the entity you're prosecuting, your claim. You're stepping into a judge seat. You're a prosecutor now. So now you must bring supporting facts and evidence. So you need to tap into that video if you're already in the club. If not, and you want to if you need help immediately, you need to join the club in order to get the class or free rent class. Otherwise, we're working on new security measures, and we'll be doing another free rent endorsement class at a later time. But nonetheless, it will come in due time. Y'all might be waiting like 6 to 7 weeks. I don't know. You know, so with that being said, when you sit and focus on your thoughts and align it with your words, only on what you need and not what you want, then it will all come to you. You're having problems because of your inability to focus. So focus. Yeah, with that being said, I said a lot in this live. Y'all need to go watch this from back from the beginning. This goes deep. Saturn moon matrix. During the ancient times, there were secret societies. These are just my notes. And civilizations that worship the moon. Back then, the name Sin was used to be called the name of the moon. Sin is the moon god. To be more specific, Sin was the name of the ancient moon goddess. So today we live in a world where we're born in sin. But check this. The world we're born in, the world that we are born in, is ran mostly by men. The male-dominated secret societies have brainwashed most of us to worship the divine masculine principle, such as the sun, Jesus, and Lucifer, to prevent us from worshiping the divine feminine principle. They tell us that we can only be saved by worshiping the external and accept him as our savior. This is misleading because the true savior is within you. The external savior complex is a complexity, it's a paradox. There's nothing outside of you that's coming to save you. I'm just giving you this message so that you can get to moving. Once you get in a private wealth club and you start inviting people, now you start building an equitable trust. When you have an equitable trust, you can assign this trust to a life insurance policy and utilize the benefits of this life insurance policy at the time of your living and not wait until the time of your death to use the benefits of a life insurance policy. That's how you control the estate, control everything, own nothing. There's nothing outside of you that's going to come in and save you. Whenever you feel like changing, you will see everything change. Everything is based upon your feelings, because whenever you get fed up, then that's when you create anew every time. And it doesn't matter if you had nothing, or if you lost your job, or if you lost it all. Somehow, some way, there's always something that's created and you're in another reality, but still in the same world. You're in another reality, and now you're existing, and now you're growing, you're expanding. This thing keeps happening over and over again. So with that being said, yeah, clear your vision. Don't let this distractions, and remember, a fast cleanse distort your reality. That's how you have a distorted version of yourself, and a version is like it's a model, and if you are running the wrong model, then you will be out of tune or out of date. So with that being said, yes, remember, you are the surety and beneficiary as being a representation of the Most High on earth. Who else but you is it? Because if you didn't tune in, how would you even know? This is the understanding of the observation or the observer's effect, which is proven in quantum physics, right? That and it states that without your observation, when you observe a particle in space, an atom, your observation denotes the reaction or the response from the particle. And when you're not observing, when we're not observing atoms, when we're not observing things in space, they literally do not exist. Out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. So this is why our whole entire lives, the battle has been projecting and putting things into our mind. Even now today, the battle is projecting, putting things into your mind. Just look at your followers list. Exactly, Lupe, the double slit experiment. Quantum physics proves that we're living inside of our own minds. The movie Inception, if you haven't seen that, or if you've seen it a long time ago, we'll go watch it again. They're breaking down the observer's effect in that movie. Because again, when you lay down at night, you go to sleep, and your body is in the bed that you're laying in, and you have a dream, where do you go? And where do you get that body when your body is in the bed? I still ain't seen nobody explain this. Inception. This is the observer's effect. So you're projecting yourself inside of your own mind. That would be the subconscious part of your mind. That's where you are going. That's why what you're dreaming of has to do with what you've put in. Literally, when you have a dream, when you're awake, you say, my dream is, right? When we're awake, we have dreams. Like our dream is. Hold on. When you go to sleep, you have a dream. And you don't even remember those dreams most of the time. And then when you wake up, you say, my dream is, and you have another dream outside of the dream. That's the inception. So where you're going is your subconscious mind. So whatever you put it in consciously, like this information you're putting in consciously, is going to your subconscious mind. So then now when you go to sleep and you're going into your subconscious mind, you're going to pull forth, you're going to bring forth information that you can stand on. Meaning the information that is firm